Welcome to the Helix webinar series. Today's session is on strategies for empowering BMC Helix Digital Workplace. Joining me today presenting will be Per, our Senior Principal Solutions Engineer. He will give his formal introduction shortly. Just a couple of reminders before we get started and dive into the agenda. There is the Q&A section of Zoom, which you will find at the bottom. Due to being muted right until the end, if you have got any questions, please put them into the Q&A section of Zoom. We will get to those questions either during, if we have others attending as a panelist, or we will go to the end and we will answer your questions live. So keep it interactive, put your questions into the Q&A, and any we can't answer today, we will go out and speak to the respective teams. So excited to get this started. So Per, I'm going to hand over to you to do your formal introduction and get us started. Over to you.
Thank you, Sam. As you can see on the slide, my name is Per Støvring Sørensen. That's a very Danish name. I don't expect you to be able to pronounce that when you first go. I'm a Senior Principal Solution Engineer with BMC. Coming June 1st, I think it is, I will celebrate my 29th year's birthday with BMC. So obviously I started straight out of kindergarten. And the picture of me is a few years old, but people tell me that I look the same today. So that is me. And without any further ado, let's dive into the agenda. And Sam, if you could turn my camera off, that'd be highly appreciated. For bandwidth issues. Thank you, Sam. So I have 3 items on the agenda. First of all, an overview. What is BMC Helix Digital Workplace? Some of you, if not all of you, might know it, but just to be sure that everybody's on the same page, especially around some of the new stuff, having an introduction to digital workplace. After that, I will shortly touch upon the features of external use. And this is my main goal today, is to show you how you can extend the utilization of digital workplace beyond your own organization. That be to suppliers, vendors, customers, whatever. And another thing I will focus on is how you can use digital workplace in the concept of a new employee, a new hire joining the organization. And I will actually run some demos on that to show you how it all looks like and what it works like. So let's go into the first item, which is the overview. What is BMC Helix Digital Workplace? Well, basically, the mantra for DWP, as we call it for short, is a one-stop portal for anything that your employees, your internal and or external customers need to do, need to find out information about, need to submit requests. And that can be for IT. That was the first iteration of digital workplace was actually called My IT. But we later expanded the utilization, the functionalities within that product. So we renamed it to Digital Workplace. So you can have customers. The last one is a customer example with Ericsson, where they use it for, obviously for IT, but also for HR, travel, facilities, whatever. You can build your own website, interfaces in DWP through configuration. I will show you that in my presentation here. So it's a one-stop shop for anything handled by one catalog. And of course, it supports any kind of device that you might dream of. Maybe not my local coffee machine, but the iPads, phones, and of course, your browsers. So it's really a very flexible, very usable solution. And it's all supported by the catalog. The catalog is where you define the requests that the user can submit in DWP. And this is just a banal example of a request type, how you define it. You put in graphics, you can put in explanations, what it supports, what they need to do and whatnot. And of course, you can attach SLAs, approvals, all this to various requests. All through configuration. There's absolutely no coding involved in this. And once you have defined the catalog, well, then obviously the the requests become visible on any device whatsoever. And the way you build the flows, the things that should happen or shall happen whenever somebody submits a request, you build that through a graphical interface like the one you see in front of you. So we usually talk about no code, low code, and pro code. This is 100% no code. So it's just a matter of dragging and dropping the various tiles from the canvas or from the catalog here into the canvas, and then build your flow. Super easy, super fast, and of course it integrates to anything that can either provide an API or some of the integrations that we have out of the box, for example, with Flexera, which is highlighted here. One of the newer things in the digital workplace is what we call the studio, and I will show you how that looks and how you work with it. But this is where you can build your microsites. So you can have different sites for different areas, like one page or site, whatever you want to call it, for your IT request, another one for HR, a third one for something else. And again, it's all done through drag and drop very easily, modified and configured to cater for any need that you might have. So this is just an example of a page that's been built. And of course, you can have graphics, you can have FAQs, whatever that is required to support your requesters. So this is what the studio brings, some highlights of the features that it's very easy to build your pages that will be presented to the requesters based upon their location, their title, their entitlements. It's all very, very easy to configure. Another newer thing in the DWP Digital Workplace is what we call the navigator. And this is where you build the menus that the user can choose between the various microsites. And you can also define specific home pages, i.e. the page that the user sees when they log into DWP, based upon, again, on their entitlements, their location, their organizational, where they fit into the organization, and so on and so forth. And this is where you set the homepage. I'll show you that. One of the really new things, that's the utilization of what we call Helix GPT. Helix GPT is it's a GPT. It's agent-based, and in the digital workplace, it is provided to the user in what we call the employee navigator. And in the previous versions of DWP, say a user asked the question, they will get a link to a number of knowledge articles, and then they would need to click on these links to go into the knowledge articles. Helix GPT would actually interpret the knowledge. It will still utilize the knowledge article, but it will interpret it and put it into a meaningful language for the user, what the answer to their question, what that might be, without them having to click on a link and then opening something else. And I will again show that for you. So this is the Helix Navigator, and this is just an example of a DWP page. And Helix Navigator can be accessed through two means, either in the search bar, or there you can see there's a small icon on the top, which is a bubble with some stars into it. That's another way of launching the interface into Helix GPT. So that was just a quick introduction to DWP, what it is and the new stuff. And let's now talk about the external use of DWP, i.e. people who are not part of your organization. And of course, as I said, the external portal is for users who are not internal, right? But they can still have access to specific parts of the catalog, specific microsites that are built for those external parties. And everything is managed by what we call a digital workplace administrator. Again, no coding whatsoever. Everything is through configuration. So normally, the way that it works is that either a user gets the URL to the external portal, and they need to create an account in order to access it. And this creation of account will normally be subject to approval. So we don't want everybody just to be able to log in and utilize our systems. I will show you in my second demo how an account is created and what happens when somebody needs access to the external portal. And you can see that the goals of external versus the internal is, of course, to handle this separately, internal and external. And what you do is you create what we call an external company, which is just a placeholder for the information. And then the external, the personal persons, which are entitled with the external administration rights, they can then configure, manage, and build the external portal as you wish. And that again is done in the Digital Workplace administration interface, where you can click on the functionalities that should be available for the external party. You can turn it on, turn it off, just as you wish, and even keep it as a minimum so they don't get into stuff we don't want them to get into. Enough about slides. Let's dive into a quick demo. And I have two demos for you. The first one is a supplier that we have granted access to DWP in order for the supplier to do stuff. So I have the external DWP here. So this is now, I'm now a supplier. It's a very simple example, so I don't have any slides going through what really will happen. You will see it as we go along. So I need to log into with my email address and a previously set password. And I will use my save password, log in with my email and my password. And by that, I will be given access to the external portal. It says welcome and my name. It's very polite. And you can see that I don't have any menu up here. I can't change my into a different microsite because it's all locked down just to this. I have the search functionality here, and then I have the three different types of requests that I'm allowed to submit as a supplier. And if I don't know how it works, I can go to my employee navigator and say, how do I submit a request? And excuse my spelling errors and stuff like that, but it will tell me in more or less clear text how I need to do that. So I need to fill out a form, send an email or whatever. Okay, cool, I'm getting it. So if I go back to my portal, you can see that I have these three, and they all work like any other request within the Digital Workplace. That in order to get an invoice status, I will request it, and will automatically pick up my ID and my supplier. The invoice number is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, whatever. The date of the invoice was May 1st, and what's the status? And I'll submit that one. And if I go to my activity, obviously, I will be able to see my requests here, and I can see the status of it, and it's already in progress. So this is how an external supplier can raise a request, and I just used a banal example of getting an invoice status. It can be more or less complex as needed. So let me just kill that process again. You can see I'm a Digital Workplace admin. I'm the external administrator. And if I go into configuration here, if you've seen Digital Workplace before, a lot of the items on the configuration here looks the same. So there's no difference in that. But what I just want to show you is the studio, how easy it is to build these microsites. And if I open my studio, I'm getting a list of the pages that have been defined already. And I would open the external portal. And you can see that it looks very much like the one you saw just before, right? And what I can do is, of course, I can change the graphics, I can change the text. But if I want to add yet another catalog, for argument's sake, a new section of selectable items, I'll go to the palette here and I will select a catalog section and drag that across. And if I just scroll a bit here, go into the properties, you can see I'm getting a list of the catalog sections that have been defined within the Digital Workplace catalog. So let's just pick suppliers. And you can see that it will instantly show me the items within that. I don't want that, I want something else. So common vendor request, we're getting that one. And as soon as I click save and publish, that will indeed be the way that this microsite will look. So you can see it's very easy to build a site which is fulfilling your exact requirements. I'll just click save and publish. And close the guy. So when you define your sites here, then what I can do is I can go into what we call the navigation manager, which is right above here. And I will get a list of all the sites that have been defined. And say that I want to add the new hire portal, then it becomes available here. So this is again very easy to define what should be available and what shouldn't be available. And on the homepage assignment, it's like here, don't say. Again, I can have several homepages. I just have one, which is the external portal, available to everybody within the external company. But I can add other pages. So say that I want this one just for argument's sake. Then, of course, I will need to put in some entitlements to say that this homepage is for a specific audience and this homepage is for somebody else. And the way I do that is basically by saying edit here, and then I can select which groups that this is available to. I'll remove it again, not to mess things up. So that's how easy it is to build the pages and to determine which pages are available through the navigation manager. Going back to this one, this was just a very banal example of how external portal can be made available to an external supplier. The second demo I have is for a new employee joining, and that's a bit more complex. It's a bit not complex, but a bit more sophisticated, I would say. So I do have a few slides just going through what I will do, and of course I will explain it as we go along. First slide is say it all starts in Helix Business Workflows. What is Helix Business Workflows? That is your support portal for non-IT requests. And that is where your HR agents, your procurement, your facilities, anything that is non-related to IT, this is where they will handle their cases, their requests. And the beautiful thing about this is that well, we can do it easily and quickly, and it's all through configuration. It's way more flexible than if you're used to the old Remedy, and I'm more or less grown up with Remedy, so I love it and hate it sometimes, but basically I love it. Adding new fields and functionalities in Remedy can be a pain, where in Business Workflows, again, it's all through drag and drop configuration. So what do we need to do? Well, I will start by being a hiring manager, and I will initiate the onboarding of a new employee that would start within my company. So I will go into Digital Workplace and initiate the onboarding. That will create tons of activities. First of all, for the new employee will get an email saying, welcome to our company. Please create an account and follow this link to do it and the instructions. Once that's done, the employee will get a lot of tasks presented in Digital Workplace for pre-boarding, things you need to do before you start, like uploading your bank account or whatever. There'll be some day one activities, week one, and month one activities. They will be very easily displayed to you. But there'll be a lot of other people, other parties. There'll be a buddy that will get his or her own tasks that they can do through Digital Workplace. HR needs to do something. IT needs to do something, and anybody else, right? So, and again, this is all through configuration. We have an out-of-the-box workflow for this in our business workflows for HR solution. So you can utilize it very easily, just do a few modifications to fit your exact needs, and you're flying off. So let me run the demo. So right now I'm logging to my Helix instance as the hiring manager, and his name happens to be Seth. No, Liam. Let's use Liam. And obviously, Digital Workplace and supports single sign-on and whatnot, but I don't have a single sign. I don't have an AD on my laptop, so I'm doing it manually. So I will start the Digital Workplace, which is where we submit the request. And this is, I'm internal right now, so I'm getting access to the internal Digital Workplace, which looks completely different than the one you saw just before. It's the same setup, it's the same environment, but again, it looks differently from an internal and an external point of view. So let me change my portal into HR. So I can get access to the HR facilities. I've done here onboarding requests. So I will start my onboarding by going into this one. And right now I've done an error. I'm sorry about that. So I just need to speak a bit about football. Is this one I need to start. That's better. So forget the last 2 minutes. Now I'm back into it, and I was, oops, not start discovery. That was a silly thing to do. Start Digital Workplace. Where are you, my friend? You are hiding. There you are. And again, I'll go into the HR portal. And scroll a bit down. This is where we were like 2 minutes ago. So I'll initiate the onboarding request. It will show me a very nice graphic about somebody happy to join. So it all starts with filling out the various questions that have been defined on this specific request, as you did see in my demo. So I will select Liam as the recruitment manager. Yeah. The body should be Beth. Bias. I will go next. Okay, and it was, they call it new employee. There you go. Mail, and the various patient. This stuff, joining the 31st May, manager. Next. Company would be Apex Global, organization, technology, department, IT. It's on-site. And the location will then be Amsterdam. Full-time and employee. Submit the request. And as we saw previously, onboarding request for new employee is initiated. We look at the details. We can see all the answers to the questions that we were asked. Let's have a look at, again, I'm still the hiring manager. Let's have a look at all the activities that have been associated or initiated rather based upon the request. So if we go into the onboard portal, you see that there are no requested progress as oncoming request upcoming because it's not joining until the 31st. If I click on this one, we will get a list of all the pre-boarding tasks, the joining day task first week. And if you scroll a bit, you'll see we have the first ones. And this is just an overview of all the tasks that need to be done. And they can be assigned to different people. See, for instance, this is going to legal. This is going to HR. This is going to IT and whatnot. But the pre-boarding tasks are primarily to the person that is joining the company. And if I go to my email, there's actually an email that's been received. I need to register a new hire portal to complete my pre-boarding formalities. So let's open that email and see what it says. And it says, "Hi, new employee," that's my name, or the name that I entered. "Welcome to the company, and you will be starting in Amsterdam on the 31st of May. And as part of your onboarding, there are a few things that we would like you to do. First of all, you need to register in the new hire portal by clicking the link in the email." So let's do that. And it will open Digital Workplace for me. I do not yet have an account, so I need to create an account. So I will click on the create account and ask me what is my first name. That's new. Last name is employee. What is my email address? That's BMC.com, using my BMC email for this. And obviously need a password, and there you can put in what a password needs to be look like, or the rules for the password creation. So I will use one that I know by heart, and then I will sign up. Now it could go through the registration of this new account could go through some sort of approval, but I disable all the approvals for this. But then it says, check your email for a confirmation code. Obviously, we will send an email back to the email address that was specified, just to make sure that it's the right email address or not. So let me go back to my email, and there's indeed an email for me. There you go. You're one step away from activating. Please enter this confirmation code. And it's quite a long code, so I'll just do my Control-C, copy it, and go back to my Digital Workplace and enter the code. Submit. And then it will open an external view. It says still there's no items because the account was just created and it needs to push in, tasks into this. So let's just wait for that to happen. So all of a sudden, all these events, tasks, whatnot, they pop up in my Digital Workplace. Should it be that I didn't have this open? Let's just go back to my emails, and you can see that I received a list of emails, one for each of the various tasks, and even some information that my buddy, which was Beth, obviously, has been assigned to my buddy, and I can contact her on this email address if I want to talk to her before I actually join. If you look at one of these task emails, they are more or less identical. So just open the first one here and say that there's a task about upload photograph. Click here to see more details. Now, of course, I could click here to go into the Digital Workplace, but since it's already open, there's no need to do that. So this is the view I will get. And if I click on details, right? I can say, okay, I need to upload the following: passport, a visa, a document, whatever. So I just add a comment here and say, this is the info you asked for. And obviously I need to attach a file, which was the picture dump of my passport or whatever. So just going to pictures, and then I will just select a random one here, and I will submit that on. So this is how the new joiner to our company can have tasks assigned to the new joiner and fulfill the tasks before even having an account within Apex Global, my company. So let's just jump back to my onboarding portal. This was here, and if I just do a refresh of this, it says task completed 0 out of 30. If I do a refresh, it says 1 out of 30. And if I click on complete, I can see that this has actually been fulfilled, right? And I have the, there's one thing I didn't do. Obviously, I need to say mark as complete, and I did do it. So if I do a refresh again, now it says 2 out of 30. And if I click on complete, I can see that the upload passport and visa document, which has been assigned to me, is complete. And if I click on this one, I can see the information that the new joiner entered into the system. So this is a very nice way of, first of all, from a hiring manager's perspective, to follow the process. Is everything done when it's supposed to be done? And as a new employee, getting a list of things that I need to do and being able to fulfill these tasks, to perform these tasks, even before having an account within Apex Global.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so getting back to my slideshow, what I really want you to take note of is that tomorrow, at more or less the same time, Sam, 4:30 CET, right?
Yes, we have
We
another
have another
session.
webinar which actually talks about new functionality that is coming in Digital Workplace, where the one that I'm presenting is people need to have an account in Digital Workplace. What we're opening for is that you can utilize certain aspects of Digital Workplace anonymously, so you don't need an account. And that will be presented in the webinar tomorrow by one of my esteemed colleagues from product management. And I highly suggest that if you have any interest in this, then please join that webinar.
And I'll
Right,
share
Sam?
that. Yeah, I'll share that link out. And we've also got on the 21st, I think, we've also got one with Deepak and CAF. They're also doing a what's new. So those that are always interested in product management, features, functionality that's coming up, I'm joined by both CAF and Deepak, and they'll be presenting that session. That's also at similar time. I think it's 4 p.m. CET, or no, 5 p.m. CET, 4 p.m. BST.